Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for attending. So this is going to be quick, just 10-minute run-through of Canstar Resources, which is focused on gold exploration in Newfoundland. So I will be making some forward-looking statements. And so in a nutshell, why invest in Canstar? We're a small company, exploration. I think a few reasons. One is we've got a district-scale property in a great jurisdiction. So the property is quite large, 774 square kilometers. And it's in a very favorable setting. If any of you are familiar with Newfound Gold and the Queensway Project, the reason we got involved in our Golden Baie Project is it is directly to the south in the same rocks, same structural corridor. That's really a crustal scale area where the Appalachians actually formed. The property we have, it is a little more remote. There is highway access, but it's quite underexplored. So that creates some opportunities in terms of there's massive potential for new discoveries because a lot of people have not been on this property. In some cases, with at least half of our claims, there's been really no gold exploration done to date. Now, despite that limited exploration work to date, we know there's gold there. We've defined a 40-kilometer trend of gold anomalies at surface. So that is not insignificant. That's 40 kilometers. Those are all at both ends, we actually have 60-gram samples of gold, which is quite anomalous. And then actually the best sample, which was discovered in 2020, graded 4,485 grams per ton of gold. So that's a grab sample, but that just confirmed there's orogenic gold mineralization here. There's a source for that, and in fact, there are multiple sources because we find significant gold over that 40-kilometer span. Valuation is quite compelling now. We've got a $19 million market cap, Canadian. At the end of last year, we had $7 million of cash in the bank. We'll spend about $6 million of that this year on exploration. The goal is to have significant discoveries and replicate some of the success of Newfound Gold, which has a $1.1 billion valuation. So you can see the massive upside potential. Good institutional shareholder base. We've got Eric Sprott as a 26% shareholder, obviously a big fan of Newfoundland. We have Altius in at 9%, and then management and board are about 4%, and other institutions at about 11%. So as mentioned, I'm the CEO. My background is equity research, investment, some focus on the equity upside here as well, some aligned with shareholders. Got a great VP exploration, Matt Lapointe, so he's worked throughout Canada, Newfoundland, as well as worldwide. Big local team. We've got a strong board of independent directors. And then for a small company, I think a pretty impressive technical advisory board as well. We've got 3 experienced people, all with PhDs in geology. So in the words of the Geological Survey of Canada, the central Newfoundland Gold Belt is emerging as the next significant mining and exploration jurisdiction in Canada. So that's a big statement from obviously a party that's independent of the company and the industry. And they've actually made this comparison between central Newfoundland and the Abitibi Gold Belt. So they're similar in size, and they think similar gold potential here as well, which is quite significant. And we're just getting started on exploration. So while Abitibi has had exploration for many, many decades, I'd say Newfoundland is really in its infancy. And I think it's going to take time. These things are complex. But there are a lot of companies looking, and I think you're going to find a lot of new discoveries in Newfoundland over the next few years. And of course, we hope that we're at the forefront of that. So we got involved quite early in terms of the staking rush in Newfoundland. So when we saw what was going on in the Queensway Project, we picked up our Golden Baie Project in basically the middle of 2020. Since then, there's been staking right around us because of just the potential here. As I mentioned before, We've already identified 40 kilometers of, you can see here, our property is the red polygon, and end to end, that's 150 kilometers. We've looked at about 40 kilometers of that, and really in detail, we've looked at 5 kilometers. So there's a lot of ground to cover. But when you get 40 kilometers of anomalous gold, you know there's something going on there. The black lines you see on here, these are key crustal scale faults. So we think these are essential to mineralization. And then generally what you find is gold mineralization occurs on the west of that in these favorable marine sediments. This is a pretty busy slide, but what I'm trying to convey here is, here you've got that 40 kilometer span of gold anomalies, and these are not, partial gram results. There's meaningful grab samples here, some trench results, as well as we've done 2 rounds of drilling now towards the bottom of this slide in what we call the Kendall prospect. And you can see the best result from that drill program so far, in terms of the first phase of the program, is 9.6 grams per ton of gold over 7.75 meters, and that was about 7.5 meters below surface. So very close to surface. Nice grades and good intersect. Not as impressive, obviously, as Newfound gold, but the genesis of their Keats zone is very similar. And what you try to do is you try to follow this mineralization until you find an area where there's been more dilation of the rocks, and so you get bigger intercepts or some kind of a trap, and you get higher gold grades as well. But certainly nothing to sneeze at for the first program. Last year, we also discovered gold in a quartz boulder that was quite significant, graded 289 grams per ton of gold. I'll show you that in a few slides, but yeah, that's really the potential for a new discovery. And then just recently we announced some till sampling results that included one sample, 502 grains of gold in that, which is very anomalous, and that's in an area that we really haven't spent a lot of time on. So that's a new area as well. So bottom line on this is we're finding new gold here all the time. Now we just need to hone in and vector in on what the sources of this are, but certainly the indications are that there's significant gold mineralization on this property, and we're in the right area. We've got lots of smoke. Now we're trying to find the fire. In terms of the impact of this year's program, we're going to spend about $6 million. Just for comparison purposes, last year we spent $2.5 million. The year before that we spent $400,000. So these programs are getting progressively bigger, I think obviously higher probability of finding something with more people, more money. This skip over this slide is just some of the drill results. You can see nice grades, close to surface, good thicknesses. We are waiting for results from the second round of drilling. We should be able to put those out in the next month or so. And we think mineralization is still open. So this slide, this was actually put together by a company called Newfoundland. They looked at gold discoveries in Canada, and for the maiden drill program, they looked at grade thickness. And we've plotted up our Kendall drill results here. We fall right in the middle. So what this indicates is when you compare this to what turned into major gold discoveries, at least in the first phase, we've replicated some of that. Does it guarantee that we're going to find 2 million ounces plus? Of course not, but that's certainly plausible. As I mentioned, we completed a round of winter drilling, so we've got 39 holes at our Kendall prospect with assays pending. Originally, we set out to drill 2,000 meters. We increased it to 3,000 based on the results, and just it was fairly quick and inexpensive drilling as well. Here's the boulder I mentioned to you. It's got visible gold in it, graded 289 grams per ton. Our goal for this year is find the source of that. It was 1.2 kilometers away from where we've been drilling so far. It's up ice, so it's not from the same location. We just want to find where the bedrock source of this is. And I'll finish off on this one. This is our exploration program, so varying stages from diamond drilling to drill target generation. It's a big property, as I mentioned, but lots of targets, lots of news flow this year. 19 million valuation, I think highly prospective. if any of you have questions, that's the end of my time. I'm at booth 512, so either stick around the end here or come see me at the booth. Thank you.